of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Call this meeting to order. Looking for approval of the agenda.
No additions to the agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
The motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of minutes from the March 4th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 1, closed session per Iowa Code 21.5C to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent, or its disclosure could be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the governmental body in that litigation.
Yeah, motion to go into closed session with a roll call.
I will make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Courtney, roll call?
Johnson,
Yes.
Scatterico,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
okay, motion carries.
Anderson?
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry, Mike.
Okay,
Sorry.
you're there, Mike. We got you.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay. No action was taken. Good morning. Number 2 on the agenda, 2nd District Community-Based Corrections presentation.
That would be me.
Okay.
Hello, good
Maureen,
morning.
you can have a seat up here.
All right.
Introduce yourself, and then we'll go around the table.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm Jennifer Middleton. I'm the Assistant Director for the 2nd Judicial District. So just wanted to give you just a little overview of our services. So
Okay. Gene?
I'm Gene Miners, Carroll County Supervisor.
Scott Johnson, acting chair today, Carroll County Supervisor.
Cindy Scatterico, Carroll County Supervisor.
Courtney Fire, I'm the auditor.
Mike's still on
Yeah, Mike, you still there?
Yes, I am. Mike Anderson, District Supervisor.
nice to meet you all. So I just have some handouts. I think I should have enough. And I won't, go through it verbatim, but I just thought it might be nice to have. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, as you may or may not know, Carroll County is part of the 2nd Judicial District. We cover 22 counties in north central Iowa, primarily all rural. We have 4 offices, one in Fort Dodge, one in Ames, which is the field office that covers Carroll County primarily, Marshalltown and Mason City. And so, if you look, looks like average individuals served, 29,000. And that's all of the all of the districts. Correctional institutions, about 8,500. And then we also have residential facilities. We have 3 in the 2nd district. We have one in Marshalltown, one in Fort Dodge, and then we have our only co-ed facility up in Mason City. So we provide pretrial, probation, parole, work release services. And then for Carroll County, poll, at the time of the poll, which I'm sure it's probably changed a little bit here and there, we had 15 female clients receiving services and 48 male clients. So not a whole lot of folks out of Carroll County, but
So are these juveniles?
no, these are adults,
Adults,
all
okay,
adults.
thank you.
Yep. Yep, so they're folks that are either coming out of prison and wanting to relocate back into the community, or sometimes they, they're sentenced to probation for, various reasons. We call that sort of, if you get sentenced to probation.
These could also include juveniles that aged out of this juvenile too, right?
Yeah, once they turn 18. Yep. And so just a little bit about the services that we provide. When folks come on to supervision, the first thing we do is we tend to assess their risk, because we have a wide there's just a pretty broad continuum of risk. We have folks that are really risky, and so they may see their supervising officer once a week. And then we have folks that maybe just kind of tripped up and got in trouble, and what research tells us, it's almost better just to monitor, but not provide a ton of services, not put them in groups with really high-risk people. You kind of want to keep them, they just do better if you almost just kind of keep an eye on them, but leave them alone. So we assess risk, and I think I have Carroll County risk levels. So moderate to high is 3 to 5, is 37, and lower is 26. So we've got some folks, so those that are 3 to 5, once they're assessed at that risk, we determine like services they need, refer them out, because generally when they're higher risk, it means maybe there's some substance abuse problems, maybe there's some past history of violence, those sorts of things, so we'll refer them to services. Either, outside of our agency, we also provide our own services. We have 2 psychologists on staff. We find that it's really hard for people to access mental health services in a quick manner, so we can sometimes provide that in-house. So folks can get individual therapy, there's group therapies. We do a lot of things remotely now, which was kind of cool. We wrote this grant back in 2018 before anyone had heard of COVID, asking for Zoom. I wish I had invested in Zoom back then, right? So, we got cameras and all that stuff, and the idea was we were going to do hybrid groups, because like for Carroll County, the closest office for people to come in and get services is either Fort Dodge or Ames. Well, transportation might be an issue, childcare, gas money, all those things, and so we switched to providing our groups virtually. And our attendance has skyrocketed, the number of groups we're providing has increased. And we did that when the pandemic hit. We just kind of shut everything down and sent everyone home. And we were actually able to increase our services rather than shut down. So it's been, we didn't know, but it's been remarkably effective. So there's some lists of the services that we provide.
Do you have where it says, where you've critiqued, what is a 3 to 5? Do you have like a list of what those are, or did I just?
Oh, you mean like the 3 to
Like,
level?
how do you get the level?
Yeah, so we do a risk assessment called Iowa Risk Revised, which as soon as they get on supervision, we do that. And that will give us the initial, risk level. And then we have a case management assessment that we do that kind of keeps an eye on, are things stabilizing and getting better, or are things is there more chaos and crisis, and do we need to move up? So it's kind of a dynamic assessment. For folks that are on for a sex offense, they have a different, more specific assessment that it's not my specialty, but we have folks that are highly trained in how to do that one.
Would they be in the 3 to 5?
Yeah. The lowest someone on for a sex offense can go is level 2, which is because of the nature of the crime. And they all get treatment. Well, generally there's treatment, pretty intensive treatment involved with that as well. So those are the services we provide. So example, like if someone that's a level 5 has a history of maybe of violence or stalking, something that makes us concerned, we have GPS monitoring, which is real time. We can go pull points, we can see where they're at any given time. It's pretty expensive. So we try to, again, use that risk assessment to really drive those needs. So there you go. So there's that. So we have our treatment menu, just the kind of groups that we do provide to folks. And again, what we try to do is assess need. Not everybody needs a course on violence reduction. Not everyone needs a course for substance abuse. So we try to really guide what they're assigned to based on their assessed needs. Again, and there's also a resource issue with that. We can't put everybody in everything. So we try to determine that and assign thereafter. So we are in the bottom third in the nation for incarceration rates. 90% of those folks sent to prison come back out. And so we've been working pretty hard with the institutions in the area. We're putting tablets into the institutions that are locked down, so they can't just go out to Wi-Fi, but they can meet with a assigned counselors in our district. Once they're kind of getting ready to be released to the community, and so they can start doing some programming and get to know who their counselor's gonna be, so that when they are released from prison to our district, they know folks that have been doing some work on the tablets. So that's been another kind of cool thing that came out of that grant. So, and then just, there's some contact information on the back. My name and number and email is there, as well as our director. Jim Barland is the treatment services supervisor. He's the one that kind of oversees all the programming, including sex offender treatment program, active program, which is for men convicted of domestic violence and women. And then our supervisor for the Ames office is Steve Nave. That's all I have. Questions?
So if you got someone that's been involved in there, that's been had issues with drugs, and you release them, do you follow up, do drug tests on them every once in a while, or how often?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. We have colors code, like sometimes they'll call, and if they're called, they'll come in, so it's randomized. Yeah, we do a lot of drug testing.
So we used to be, okay, before the governor's realignment, we're now an advisory board. So I sit on the second
Oh, you
judicial,
do?
yeah.
Okay, good.
So I
Okay.
zoom into the meetings, I come to to
Wonderful.
Webster City once.
Yeah.
So the $1,480 that we pay, what does that go to now?
I have no idea. What's the
We call
14?
it, we call it rent. I think it's our county's contribution to cover the cost of the office.
Oh.
Okay, okay.
So,
thank you.
Okay.
and it went up significantly this year, because it was like 1,400 and usually it was like 1,100 or something. And significantly, I know that's only $300, but.
But yeah.
Yeah,
good
it went
job.
up, yeah,
Okay.
but that was like the first time they'd raised it in many, many years, so.
I know
Okay.
Tisha sits on the board too, and
Okay.
then Amanda asked would I still sit on the advisory board, and I
Wonderful.
said yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they've had a meeting yet.
No, so the thought is to, once realignment happens, is to kind of get out and come to you. So we've been out visiting all 22 counties. So just to kind of talk a little bit about our services, and I think we'll try to have a meeting like once a year. But, you know, it just really changed the structure of our work. So that was kind of where we're at right now, and just wanted some feedback too. If you prefer this, you know, it's coming out to you annually, you know, just kind of getting some information about, you know, since it changed so dramatically once a realignment happened. And we're still. you
I'm
know,
okay with annual, as far as, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can come out anytime if there's questions or issues or anything like that. We have a probation parole officer who lives in this area who primarily covers Carroll
Who is
County. Lisa Bach.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And then-
She's the one that we always have to
Kick
find
out
a
of our
place
office,
for.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because we're doing
yeah.
remodeling.
Well,
Yeah.
then Tisha, I think, sits on it too. She's the JCO for this
Oh,
area.
sure, okay.
And I think
Yep.
she's still on the advisory board, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, we're still, you know, not really, we didn't know what was coming until they announced it.
I know there was a lot of pushback
A lot of pushback.
from this group, not
Correct.
from the governor, yeah.
Correct, yeah. It's just the timeline and the timeframe was real tricky. So we're still sort of wading through realignment stuff. I'll just put it that way. We're doing our best.
According to this map, you gotta do out the biggest land mass.
Yes,
District.
yes, I think we are, and we're primarily all rural, you know, so you'll see some of the smaller ones, but they have, you know, a higher population center, so. Yeah, we can, it's a, you know, your windshield time can be significant, you know, from here to Mason City is a haul, so. And again, that was part of the reason we really wanted to create some virtual services for our clients, because we're so big and spread out, so that they could show up, but from their living room.
Any questions, Mike?
Well, I appreciate your time. If you ever need anything or have questions or run into anything sticky, please reach out and we'll do our best to respond and get it fixed. So,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you,
for the
Jennifer.
information.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 3, approve payables. Pretty expensive this pay period because of paying Batings and the new motor grader. and it added up to well over half. So we're looking at $1,025,596.87.
Well, I had a couple of questions earlier this morning, I had them answered, they're gonna be rebilled out to a different county, so. I'll make a motion that we approve the payables of $1,025,996.87.
I'll second that. The motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number, what's that?
Who was in this thing, right?
Gee, I wanted to trade with him today.
You wanted me to trade last week, so you traded again.
Passing that around, looking for signatures. Item number
So
4.
according to Bailey's, these are talking about claims here, we're at 87.8% completion of that job.
It's still close to 200,000 in contingency. I think today or counting dollars. Okay, item number 4, set public hearing for fiscal year 25 proposed budget tax levy.
Okay, so this is taking the place of what we used to have called the max levy. So the county is required to have 2 hearings on the budget. This one is a little different, so the hearing has to take place in a separate meeting from the actual Board of Supervisors meeting. They can be held on the same day, but they have to be 2 separate agendas, 2 separate meetings. So I'm proposing to do the hearing like at 9 o'clock on April 1st. So we'll post an
An
agenda.
April Fool's joke?
Yeah. It's just funny how it came out on April Fool's Day, but anyway. So we would have the public hearing at 9 with its own agenda. You hold the hearing and then close the hearing, close the meeting, and then we'll have a regular board meeting after that. I confirmed that that was fine. It does not have to be on a separate day. It just has to be 2 separate agendas, 2 separate meetings, but they can be held back to back.
So do we have to like go drive around the park and come back?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And obviously, we still have the proposed levy at 4.60948 for an urban, which is a reduction.
So what for, oh, okay, so this does include the full levy?
Well, yes and no.
Does it have
So,
debt service?
The actual notice for this meeting is gonna not include debt service. So,
So,
as far as the levy goes, I think it's, the actual notice does not include the debt service levy.
so it's our regular levy less the debt service and our debt services.
Is it 88 cents? No, I don't have it. in front of me.
Rural, or I'm
No,
sorry,
the debt service.
64 or 65.
Okay.
I would like to have that figure. We can do that afterwards.
Okay, so anyway, and we can set what that levy is. I was just talking about the total levy because I think
Because this notice does not include the total levy.
it does not. It does
Okay.
not include debt service. And I guess I could.
Does it include the other taxing entities like school board, DMAC, any of
No,
that, or
it's
just
just
county?
ours.
Just Earl and Reuben?
Yeah, just
Earl
ours.
and Reuben.
And the proposed urban levy is less than what it was in '24 at 4.60948, and the rural is a reduction as well at 7.86428. That includes the debt service, those levies, that's the actual total levy. The proposed levy is actually just the tax dollars you're requesting, and I believe it does not include debt service. But the notice will be published according to what the Department of Management says we have to say in the notice. But you're right, the max levy never included like mental health or debt service. And I'm not 100% sure, I haven't looked that close at this notice that we published, if it includes debt service or not. I was thinking it didn't, but I might be wrong. Either way, we'll be publishing the correct.
So 3 weeks from today at 9 o'clock is your
Yeah.
suggestion?
Yep, I'll publish it in the paper. We're required to post it on any social media that we have. So it'll be going on the county Facebook page, it has to be on the county website, and then it has to be published in the papers. So looking for a motion to approve April 1st at 9 for
So
the hearing
moved.
for this.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, set the public hearing for April 1st, 9 a.m. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
On April
Aye.
1st.
On April 1st, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 5, committee reports.
Are you
Hey,
good?
I'm going to report nothing. I'm going to jump off here. I appreciate it. Thank you
All
guys.
right, see you, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Goodbye.
You too.
I go first. Last week, Gene and I had CCGP at noon.
Can you wait just a second? I gotta
Yep.
write down that you left the meeting. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Tuesday at noon, Gene and I had CCGP, Lear Corporation, or Carroll Coolers, gave a presentation on the Carroll facility. It was kind of interesting what all they built there. Wednesday, first floor punch list, 0. No, not even a nick of paint, nothing was found, which was kind of unusual. Thursday night, 3 of us went to Farm Bureau meeting here in Carroll and talked about concerns, answered some questions they had. Friday, I went out to roads, looked at payables, courthouse, and then at 10, Gene and I had union negotiations. At 11, we had the conference board. This week, Tuesday, tomorrow morning, March executive meeting at the landfill. Then it'll be ISAC the rest of the week. Questions?
Mhm. Okay, you wanna go, Jim?
Go ahead.
Let's see, I don't really have a lot for last week. And this week I just have the 3 days of the Capitol and the ISAC.
Okay,
Or one day at the Capitol.
last week I had CCGP, and Liza had Scott report, we had a presentation by Lear, and they actually gave us a virtual tour of the plant also. And then Thursday night was the Farm Bureau meeting. I thought that went very well. We had actually a pretty lengthy discussion on a lot of topics, and we were even thanked for our
Yes.
services and things, the way we did things. So I was happy the way that turned out. And then Friday was Ammon's union negotiations, which we did settle, and we'll probably have we've got a tentative agreement now, and we'll probably have the signed document by next week that we can present to the board. And then we had the conference board meeting that we set her budget for the year and also made those appointments, so. And then this week I have Wednesday through Friday is ISAC.
Are you going with radio and newspaper today?
And I'm doing a radio and newspaper this today.
Courtney, next week,
We'll probably-
ambulance union negotiation, or tentative agreement.
Yep, other than that, I don't have anything for next
Okay.
week.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.